What's up? Just weighing out some flour and some water into this bin. We just finished up baking our flatbreads for the market that's about to happen. And usually I would just like stop, go to the market, I would clean off, go to the market, come home. But the oven's gonna be hot tonight, and we just received a couple of bags of free whole spelt flour from Carolina Ground. So, which is a stone mill out here in Hendersonville in South Asheville. So instead of saving this flour and adding it to doughs that I would mix and bake and sell to people, I'm going to take this free flour and make some free whole spelt sourdough bread for a local free fridge drop off, which means, homeless and people in need will be able to go to the free fridge and get some good whole grain bread for free. So this is, I'm actually not writing a recipe for this. All I'm doing is just taking an old recipe that I do with 100% whole wheat and switching it out for Spelt. Spelt has similar properties to whole wheat, but I will definitely need to adjust the water, the hydration percentage accordingly. We need to put about 50, 5.3 kilo of the spelt flour. Let's just use this whole bag and then maybe we'll see how much that is here. Yeah, I think that's 4 kilos of spelt. So let's just add a tiny bit of whole wheat so that it gives the bread a little bit more body when baked, a little bit more height, so people are not like, what am I eating? That it'll be a little bit more familiar to people. If anybody's watching, thank you for doing so. I appreciate it. And if you have any questions, about hand mixing dough, let me know. Oh, do we have a question? No. Someone said hi, I think. Hey, what's up? Welcome, welcome. Look, okay. I understand. This is boring for a lot of people. I totally understand. YouTube, social media in general, Instagram, TikTok, nobody's got the same attention span as we all once did. 6'7", are you for real? That's actually crazy in my chat. And an 8'9" to you, my friend. Also, what are you doing? What am I doing? I am weighing out flour, water, salt, and our whole grain sourdough. I'm gonna hand mix it and answer any questions that y'all have about hand mixing. We run the entire bakery without a mixer. Just use our little mitts here to mix the dough. And I just thought it would be cool. I only have like 30 minutes before I gotta go get ready for market, but I thought it'd be cool to show y'all how we mix a big bin of dough, Yeah, but anyway, I understand it's fucking boring, okay? Like, for a lot of people, they're staring at this, they're like, why would anyone go live and weigh out ingredients into a bin? Well, it's because I really care about showing everyone that you can use stone ground whole grain flours, mix them by hand, and still make awesome bread. You don't need any special equipment. All I got is a big bin. You could use any bin. You could use anything, any bowl or anything. You don't need some like 60-quart mixer that's gentle with the dough. It's just not the reality. And I mean, for people watching, people watching who aren't bakers, it's like, who cares? But anybody who is a baker looking at this, it might open their eyes to something new. I know back in the day, if I saw this, it would have opened my eyes. All right, and we need, how much salt here do we need? We need 160 grams of salt. We'll put a little bit less, because you don't really need that much salt. You could put 145 grams of salt or so. So now we got the flour, the water, the salt, right? We're gonna bring it, actually I'll keep it right here so I don't have to move the camera. Put this right here. And now we're gonna get our sourdough our sourdough that we have, nicely ripened overnight. And we keep a big bin of sourdough, because we're mixing a lot of dough constantly, almost every day during the week. And thank you. I subscribe to you. Thank you, Bentley. I really appreciate that. Listen, there's no pressure to subscribe, but I do go live a lot, I do bake a lot, and I do like to answer questions. So I really appreciate that subscription. And yeah, again, there's zero pressure to be involved with what we're doing at all. I like to show everybody what's going on. So we got the rubber band on our wrist. Let's take that off. I got a little bit of ash on my hand. I'm gonna go wash my hands before we really stick them into the dough. So this right here is 100% whole wheat sourdough leaven. And you might be wondering why it's so brown. It's because it's whole wheat. There's no white flour in any of the breads, flatbreads, loaves, pita, anything. Everything we do is brown, dark brown, because we like whole grain flours around here. So I'm gonna go real quick, give my hands a little wash so they're nice and clean going into the bit of dough. So we got our bench scraper right here. And if you're doing this at home, obviously you're probably not gonna make 15 loaves of bread. You're probably just gonna do 2, maybe 1 or 2. Just weigh out your ingredients, and we just do a rough mix of the dough. There's gonna be no kneading involved in this. I wanna be a little bit gentle, because if I go too vigorously, it's gonna start kicking up flour into my face, and then I'm gonna be breathing flour. And if you don't know why that's not a good thing, just go ahead, go on Google and look up baker's lung. Baker's lung. It's from years and years of breathing in flour particles. You end up with the possible ailment of baker's lung. It's like an infection in your lung or something. Actually, the person who previously owned the space that we're in right now only has 1 lung now. And I think it's because they thought it was cancer, lung cancer. So they removed his lung and then found out, oh, it's not cancer. So he only has 1 lung, but he should have had 2, and he could have just gotten rid of his infection by just halting baking altogether. So this dough, I can tell just by feeling it, it's a little bit dry, a little bit drier than I'd normally want. But this bread is going to be free, so it doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be made. It needs to be baked, wrapped, and given to the people that need it. Doesn't need to be the perfect loaf of bread. And just by using whole grains, it's already, in my eyes, more perfect than anything you'd see on a grocery store shelf. Where do you get your flour from? That is a fucking great question. Can we get a... That's the best question ever. So if you want to order flour from this company, you can. I'm not like sponsored or anything. I just know what's right when it comes to ingredients in baking. This flour is from a company called Carolina Ground. It was started by a woman named Jennifer Lapidus, who used to be a wood fire baker and would stone mill all of her own grains before baking. But like most bakers, she realized, I'm working way too hard. I could be working less and making more profit by selling the actual flour that I'm milling for my own baked goods to other bakers. So she started Carolina Ground. I can't remember when she started it exactly, but she started it years ago. Must be over a decade and a half. And she uses stone mills, giant stone mills. I'll probably do a video on Carolina Ground because she would be happy to have me come through and film some stuff and make a small video. She uses giant stone mills to coarsely and cold, and at a cold temperature, mill locally grown grains. So grains that were grown in North Carolina organically. That means no glyphosate. Means real organic grain grown in North Carolina, milled in North Carolina. She's working hand in hand with farmers and creating a better food system all around, at least, out here. But if you do want to buy some of Carolina Ground's flour, you just go on their website, and I'm almost positive they have like a whole retail program where you can buy stuff and they will ship it to you in a small bag. I don't think you're going to be buying any like 50-pound bags of flour, but you can buy grain, flour, rye, all sorts of stuff from them, and all you have to do is go on carolinaground.com. Preach, brother, local grain miller baker here. I'll check her out. Oh, fuck yeah, bro. That's awesome. I'm actually really stoked that you stopped to watch this. I really appreciate it, yo. Yeah, we only use locally grown, organically grown, and stone milled grain. And then it's always sourdough. And it's always wood fired. Always wood fired. I don't know if you can see. I'm done mixing, so I'm gonna use my hand. But right over there, this thing right here, this big brick thing, that is a gigantic black oven, a brick oven called a Turtle Rock that we were lucky enough to inherit when we got this property back in like 2018, 2019, something like that. So anyway, back to the mix. Look, the mix is all done. I don't have to fucking do anything else. That's what we're doing here. We're letting time align the gluten molecules. No rough kneading, no machines needed. And I'll show you exactly. Usually I would wait longer to showcase what it looks like to develop gluten. But I can easily just show you real quick. So what you do is I have my water here, right? I just wet my hands a little bit. Sorry, I'm off camera, but you can hear it. I'm wetting my hands here. Okay. Question? Weird question, but what does it feel like? What does it feel like? It feels like very... I don't know. I've never been asked that question. It feels like... Oh my gosh, it feels like cold. It feels like if melted cheese could be held in your hands. That's what it feels like. That's a really cool question. No one's ever asked that before. Anyway, wet hands. You see it's not sticking when your hands are wet. And we just want to fold it over itself. And that's gonna slowly help the gluten molecules align. And the cool thing about doing this is you really get your hands in the dough and you get to feel your dough and you get a better understanding of what's happening every time you fold. You know, rather than just standing back and watching a mixer spin, you're getting hands-on experience with your dough, learning about your dough. So see, I folded it once, twice. You can see it's already kind of like got a little bit more strength than when it was just mixed, sat there. Fold it over this way. I mean, it looks more like a dough already. And fold it over once this way, you know? And we're already starting to see, some gluten being formed. But now, we're gonna let it sit here. We're gonna let it sit for, 15 minutes, 10 minutes. You could fold it again in 10, 15 minutes. You could wait longer, fold it then. You could put it in the fridge, let it ferment for longer. There aren't any fucking rules, all right? Just do what you want when it comes to hand mixing. And typically you end up with a pretty good loaf of bread. But I gotta go. I gotta get ready for the market. Maybe just for fun, I'll show you some stuff that we baked. This is gonna sit right here. I'll show you some of the stuff we baked. I love your video. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Hey, and I really appreciate that sub, by the way. So this is what we just made. This is these right here. Oops, I'll turn it this way. This right here is mashed potatoes with olive oil and sea salt. It's wrapped in a really thin whole wheat sourdough crust, and they're really good on their own. Or you can kind of like take them home, heat them back up, get them crispy on both sides like grilled cheese, and I like to serve them with like mustard. It's really good with mustard, or ketchup if you're low class. I like ketchup. I'm a pretty low class individual. I put some catsup on it. And a pickle is nice too, because it's like the rich, potato with the olive oil. The pickle cuts right through that. That's nice. This one right here is whole wheat sourdough flatbread. And it looks like strips, but after it cools, we slice each one, so it's an individual portion. This one has Lebanese olives, also known as zaytun. And it also has a local polenta. So it's like a tapenade with polenta and olive, and then everything seasoning like a bagel would have. This one is roasted local beets with everything seasoning, and then a local balsamic vinegar that I get from my friend Scott at the market, who I'm posted up right next to. I love that fucking dude. This right here is roasted carrots with garlic and a local sorghum syrup. So sorghum syrup, it's essentially molasses. Instead of a sugarcane stalk, it's a sorghum stalk that the dude, the heirloom grower named Larry, I'm about to pick up more sorghum from him tomorrow, but he juices the sorghum stalks, reduces it in a big pot, and then creates like, a jar after jar of syrup that we then put on the carrots with garlic. Or we also make a loaf with it, almost like a honey wheat, but with sorghum syrup instead. This one is local mushrooms from a farm named Black Trumpet Farm. And just really good friends of ours. We pretty much started market right at the same time they did. We got married at the same time they did. And then we had a kid the same time they did. So I'm really close to these motherfuckers. This is gray oysters and piapinis, which is a mushroom that I had never heard of until I met them. And then we put a bunch of sumac on top. Yeah, I appreciate that, Bentley. It is really yummy. I'm not gonna lie. They're very soft. They were just baked, so I have to let them cool, and then I'm gonna slice into them. But anyway, I'm gonna see y'all later. I appreciate you guys for watching. I know it's like a weird time to make a video, but it's really cool that anybody at all tuned in, commented, subbed, anything. I really appreciate that. You never have to, but it's always really dope when you do. Yeah, the loaves that were just mixed in that big bin with the spelt, I'm gonna keep folding that over the next hour, throw it in the fridge, go to market, come back, kiss my beautiful family. After my son's in bed, I'm gonna go back on the YouTube live and we'll shape up the spelt, proof it, and bake it. And hopefully the dough will be so fermented that I can essentially shape it and bake it within like an hour or two, and we can get the whole thing on live. Anyway, thanks y'all, I really appreciate it. I'll see you later, okay?